Little Miss Muffet.
Once upon a time, in a big, sparkly city, there was a girl named Little Miss Muffet. Her daddy was a super important banker, and they were so rich that their house was almost like a castle. It was huge, with shiny marble and granite everywhere. They even had an army of helpers just for Miss Muffet because she was the only kid in the family and super special. Miss Muffet had a helper for everything. One to comb her hair, one to help her with baths, one to help her eat, and even one to tie her shoelaces. And there was Nurse Hollowegg, who was like the boss of all the helpers. Her daddy was always busy at work, and her mommy was a big deal in the city, always going to parties and stuff. So Miss Muffet hardly ever saw them and didn't really know them that well. Everyone just called her Miss Muffet all the time. Even her parents would be like, "How's Miss Muffet?" or "Hello, Miss Muffet," and then walk away. They were always super busy. Now, you might think Miss Muffet, with all her fancy stuff and helpers, would be the happiest girl ever. But nope, she wasn't happy at all. She wanted to play outside, get dirty in the garden, and make friends with other kids. But Nurse Hollowegg and the helpers were always like, "That's not how a lady acts." So Miss Muffet was often grumpy and didn't have any fun. Plus, the food was too fancy for her, and she wasn't feeling good because of it. She was skinny, pale, and couldn't sleep well. One day, her mum, who was home for a bit, thought about Miss Muffet and called Nurse Hollowegg. "How's Miss Muffet doing?" she asked. The nurse said Miss Muffet wasn't doing great. Her mum was like, "Oh, get a doctor and tell me what he says." The doctor came and said Miss Muffet needed a change, like going to the countryside. So they planned a trip to the country with all her helpers and a bunch of bags and stuff. In the country, Miss Muffet was told she still couldn't play or get dirty. She was super mad and thought, "This is just like the city, I have to go." So, when her helper Sarah fell asleep, Miss Muffet ran away down a pretty lane. She saw a farmer's cart and thought it'd be fun to sneak a ride. So she did. She climbed in and ended up falling asleep in the cart. The farmer had no idea Miss Muffet was in his cart. He went home, and his wife found Miss Muffet asleep in the cart. They were super surprised and asked her who she was. She told them her name, but didn't really know much else. The farmer's wife decided Miss Muffet could stay and help make cheese. Miss Muffet thought it was fun to help and do something for once. But soon, Miss Muffet got tired. The farmer's wife said she had to keep working if she wanted to stay. Miss Muffet kept working, and for dinner, she got curds and whey. She ate it outside, but then a huge, scary spider came, and she got so scared that she spilled her food and ran back, crying. The farmer's wife tried to make her feel better. Just then, a fancy carriage came looking for Miss Muffet. It was Nurse Hollowegg. Miss Muffet was actually happy to see her and jumped into the carriage. On the way back, the nurse told her not to run away again. Miss Muffet said she'd only stay if she could play and have fun like other kids. Nurse Hollowegg agreed because she didn't want to lose Miss Muffet again. Back in the city, Miss Muffet started to play and have fun. She got healthier and happier, and even when she grew up, she always remembered her adventure, the curds and whey, and the big, scary spider that made her run from the tuffet. And that's the story of how little Miss Muffet learned to have fun and be happy.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the videos and having as much fun watching them as I am creating them. If you like what you see and want to keep up with all the latest content, make sure to hit that subscribe button below.